Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. This is Manchester United News. I am Alex, and we've got loads to get through this morning. Yesterday, Jack Grealish signed for Manchester City. Raphael Varane arrived in Manchester, but the world got broken with Lionel Messi saying he's moving on from Barcelona. So the whole of the transfer market is absolutely all over the place. I was with Man City fans yesterday saying, I hope we don't announce Grealish and go for Messi. It is absolute chaos. We're getting into that a little bit later on. We'll touch on that towards the end of the video. But let's kick this off straight away. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did an interview with Manchester United yesterday, with Manchester United TV. A good chat about absolutely everything. He started off, and we're going to start off this morning, as the thumbnail suggests, with Raphael Varane and Jadon Sancho set to miss out at the start of the season. So he talks here. Sancho and Varane still haven't trained with us, and I need to see how they are. I can't see them being available for Everton this weekend, but hopefully they'll be ready to be on the bench against Leeds. For me, the more frustrating one is Raphael Varane. You've seen how in pre-season so far we've played Mengi and Tuanzebe all the way through pre-season as our centre-halves. Both of them looked like they were going to go out on loan, but have played most of our pre-season games, mainly because we've had no centre-backs here, no centre-backs fit. You've got Harry Maguire's come back this week. Bailly's been away with the Ivory Coast for the Olympics. He won't be playing the first game for Manchester United, I really don't think. And also, no Victor Lindelof has been pictured in training as of yet. So, yet to see when he's back playing. So, a bit of a strange one. I think everyone was kind of hoping for Raphael Varane to be walking in, going, right, I'm going to start the first game for Manchester United this season. But that might not be the case. Raphael Varane, obviously, one of our most important signs, maybe more important than Jadon Sancho in some way, just because of the level of expertise, the level of leadership he brings in. And I think a lot of us have, because of how long Jadon Sancho kind of dragged out, Varane was kind of, this is such an amazing transfer that's happened so quickly and absolutely changes the face of our defence, bringing someone like him alongside Harry Maguire. If he misses the start of the season, if he doesn't hit the ground running, we may struggle. We'll talk a little bit as well. There was also some quotes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He mentioned Pep Guardiola mentioning that in the first 8 games, you can't win the Premier League, but you can make that you can't win the Premier League. And that's, he said, that's what he did last season. And this is the worry a little bit, I think, for a lot of Manchester United fans, that this might happen again this season. Slow start. We've not got the worst start to the season. Leeds, obviously, a very tough game. You know, a decent side, a lot of history there. Will be a tough start to the season. We've not got the hardest start to the season, but if you lose them first few games, like Ollie said, you might not have a bad season at the end of it, but you can play yourself out of winning the title very, very quickly if you drop points. And especially you look at how City have strengthened so far, signing Jack Grealish, and are going to look very good. Liverpool have had a lot of their players back early and fit. They're going to look good. Chelsea have signed a lot of good players. So it's going to be a really tough start to the season if Manchester United don't win those first few games and keep up with the big teams. So a big news on Raphael Varane. Jadon Sancho, I'm worried at what I see him, but again, if he starts on the bench against Leeds, I'm not too worried. We have got other options up front. We've got a few more options at the start. You've had Anthony Martial's been back for a while. Mason Greenwood's played a lot of minutes, so I'm looking forward to seeing him start. You've also got the likes of a few others coming back in there, so I'm not too worried about that. But I am a little bit worried about no Raphael Varane, not really any Victor Lindelof. Who's going to start at centre-back at the start of the season? Get in the comments and let me know. Jamie has put a super chat in. Thank you very much. Quarantine and yours have delayed them coming. Rather they rest first. Imagine we signed Sancho and Varane on deadline day, would not play until mid-September. I completely agree. Getting transfer business done early has been important this summer, especially with everything going on, especially with all the quarantine rules and all that. So United getting those two done has been important. I'm not too worried about in midfield. You've seen a lot of players come back fit already. We'll probably have our first choice for there. Bruno came back early. Paul Pogba's been training. McTominay and Fred are back in there. Matic has played a lot of games. Donny van der Beek's played a lot of games. You've had a lot of players in midfield, but however, it does look like we might be a little bit short at centre-half. The next thing Ollie has talked about is signings, and he's talked now. He said anything from now is a bonus, because he was so happy about the signings of Raphael Varane and Sancho. I think they were his two main targets, or at least he's framing it that way. I have to say that the two that we've strengthened where we want to strengthen. Let's see what happens. You never know in football. Anything can happen, ins and outs. I think outs is going to be the next big thing for the next few weeks. There's loads of talk about Jesse Lingard. You guys are in a bit of a debate in the comments about Jesse. Jesse Lingard, Dalot, Pereira, all these kind of players. I think if they get out the door, you get a bit of money in. You may see a couple more players in for Manchester United. But ins, I don't think we're going to see any until the outs have happened. It's amazing how that quote that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, I've had a few articles this morning, have managed to tie that in to Lionel Messi. Have said that Ole, who said something completely nothing to do with Lionel Messi, the only thing Messi news broke by the time he did his interview yesterday, saying that anything can happen in the transfer window, and someone said, that means he's going to try and sign Messi. Absolutely ridiculous journalism from some people. It's no chance Messi's coming to Manchester United, but I will have a chat about what all that kind of stuff might mean for Manchester United later on. He then goes on, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to talk a little bit about Paul Pogba. It was obviously one of the topics for the journalist to ask Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yesterday. He said, Paul's such a positive boy. The talks I've had have been positive. He's looking forward to getting there for the start of the season. He then goes on talking about trophies. He said, I hope every player thinks this is the place to be to win trophies. When you're at Manchester United, you have to rise the challenge. Paul Pogba has come back and he's fresh. Good talk about Paul Pogba. This is probably the biggest link maybe to the Messi stuff, because by the looks of things, the news this morning, Romano's been talking that Paris had gone into advanced talks to sign Lionel Messi. There's also rumours about City, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that City kind of fits. I don't think they get Grealish, Kane and Lionel Messi. I think if they'd have to sack off Harry Kane, but I don't think long term. I think to be honest, I think they're a bit cleverer than that to sack off the chance to sign Harry Kane to get Messi in. But I think that it is looking like PSG are going to be the front runners to have Lionel Messi next season. There's always the option of him going back. But what that means potentially is that the move for Paul Pogba might be off for Paris Saint-Germain. I think they were looking for that top signing, that icing on the top of the cake, because they've done some good work this summer, PSG. They've obviously signed Ramos, they've signed Hakimi, they've signed Wijnaldum, they've strengthened all across the park, and they look... they've got a good balanced team there. They've obviously got the likes of Mbappe and Neymar as well. But they've strengthened really well. The talk of Paul Pogba was, here's an extra player, here's that little bit more star quality to get in there. But I think if they can get Messi, I think that maybe they move away from Paul Pogba. There was also some reports today that in the Telegraph yesterday, talking about Paul Pogba and the chance that the problem with the fans who maybe don't quite like the idea of Paul Pogba joining, with his history in the past, with what his mother said about joining Marseille and being a Marseille fan and all these different things, it might be too difficult to do. So I think that the big news for United about this Messi thing is it may impact the chance of Paul Pogba leaving this summer, and maybe that doesn't happen because Paris Saint-Germain put all their eggs into signing Lionel Messi. They put all their wages they've got left into signing Lionel Messi, and Paul Pogba, who it's looking like anyway, is going to start the season as a Manchester United player. There's also some talk as well about that centre-forward position. I mentioned it in the fact that we've got the likes of Marcus Rashford out, Jadon Sancho not quite back. They have mentioned a little bit about giving people the rest in certain games, and Ole bigs up Mason Greenwood a little bit. He talked about bringing in Odion Igalo on loan in order to give Anthony Martial a rest in certain games, but it was important that we did that because we wanted to keep Mason Greenwood developing, and that kind of talk suggests to me that Ole has in line Mason Greenwood, my number 9, or is going to be a number 9 for Manchester United in the coming years. We aren't going to sign someone that is going to impact the way he works. Cavani coming in means that we can give people rest now and again, and Mason can start playing a bit more. But Manchester United, having Mason Greenwood up there, I think it's going to be something you'll see a lot more this season. With Jadon Sancho being able to fill in on that right-hand side, I think you're going to see Mason, who started a lot of the pre-season games as a number 9, playing a lot more. I'm going to have a quick look at some of your guys' comments this morning. Messi to City is from Kulan Luke. Potentially. James John saying, imagine Pochettino bottling with Messi. If they don't win the league after signing Lionel Messi, the French league, they've got some serious problems. And to be honest, they should be favourites for the Champions League if they aren't already. That's Santanoch. That's a big point. Who else would go for Pogba? Likely only Paris, and now they probably won't. I was chatting to Jay about this on the Transfers Live the other night, and I've chatted to a few people. It seems amazing at this moment in time that Madrid and Barcelona, and maybe even Juventus, are out of every single question for top signings. They aren't even in the mix. They don't look like they can sign it, don't look like they've got any money, don't look like they've got any wages on hand. So when players like Lionel Messi, obviously up there, but even like the Harry Kane transfer, even like Haaland, there's probably only 5 clubs in the world. You've got the top 3 in England, Chelsea, City and Manchester United. In terms of money, they're up there to sign players. Don't think Liverpool have the funds to pull off these big signings without seeing outgoings. So you've got those 3. You've got Paris Saint-Germain, obviously. And then you've got Bayern, who don't usually sign ridiculous signings. They really plan those. They don't really spend too big signings. You've now taken out the top 2 in Spain, who used to always be the option. It used to always be they were the ones that were going to come in and get it. They were the ones that were going to come in at the last minute and buy a Paul Pogba. That's where Paul Pogba was always going to go. You saw Ronaldo go there. That was always the next option. Now, some players will still have the dream to go and play at Madrid and Barca, but it's not going to. You can't force the English clubs to do it anymore. They've not got the money. They've not got that. So it's interesting with Lionel Messi leaving there. He's not got many options. There's not many clubs across the world that can afford it and would even contemplate it. It's the same thing that's going to happen with Haaland next year. The Mbappe thing, I think they want that. But all of this down to Ronaldo and Messi, how they put all their eggs in that basket, the wages and all that. The marketing around La Liga was about those 2. It's kind of broken the system now. The wages are all over the place. You've got people like Griezmann on 800 grand a week, all because of it being skewed by Lionel Messi and Ronaldo. It could take years for Madrid and Barcelona to get back playing to how they were. People mentioned AC Milan in there. I don't think they've got the money, and Spurs as well. They all don't really have the funds to go out and spend £100 million on a player. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's have a look. Alexander said, what a joke of a club. We are starting the season with the same squad, but a few injuries. It's been a Euros, and we've had the one thing is Euros, a Copa America, the Olympics. A lot of our players did very well. We've got a lot of English players in the team. They did really well across the board. A lot of those players won't play. That's how it's going to be. That's the case. All of it is. Liverpool have got a little bit lucky in the terms of their star players didn't play in those tournaments. They've been able to hit the ground running, but that's the case. That's where we are. We need a ruthless manager who tells players you're getting no game time, so leave. You can't do that. Everyone goes on about Pep Guardiola. That's not how he does things. That's not they rotate players. You need to be able to have a squad. You need to keep people happy. You can't just get rid of everyone. It's the reason Manchester City won the league last year. They won the league last year because they had a big squad and they could rotate, play players all the way through. You cannot just have 11 players. It doesn't work. It works for 6 months. You look how Liverpool had that little burst and did well. As soon as you do things like that, as soon as that moves on, it just doesn't work long term. You can't compete for a lot of trophies. You look how Liverpool have done it as well. They do not compete for more than maybe the Champions League, and they scrap the cups every single season. Look how City have done it, managing to go far in 4 different competitions because they've got the squad. And I think Ollie's trying his best on not a limited budget, but a limited budget in comparison to Manchester City, and a limited squad in terms of Manchester City, in being able to do that. Having 2 players in every position is where we can. Building the squad up, he's done very, very well to get there. Let's have a look what else we have. Increasingly more likely we will lose our club record signing on a free. I'm hoping that's not the case for Paul Pogba. I'm hoping that he will sign a contract. It's looking like he's probably not going to leave this season. It looks like he's going to play for Manchester United at the start of this season, but it's not looking like he's going to sign a new contract anytime soon. Paul Pogba keeping his options open, and look, I think you're going to see a lot more players doing this in the climate where teams don't have the budget to spend the big transfer fees, running the contracts down. If they want to move on, they know they're not going to get the fee. And with the likes of Raiola, you see what he did to Donnarumma at AC Milan, moves him on the free, he gets a kickback off Paris Saint-Germain coming in. That's probably how Raiola does things. That's how he knows he can get the money. Rather than charging 100 million, taking 10%, he'll just take the 10 million and have a free transfer, which the clubs seem to be happy. Let's have a look a bit more at your comments, and then we are going to wrap this up, guys. Think the Glazers will see the revenue value in signing Messi. I don't think the value is... I don't think it's there. I don't think that you look what Barcelona did. They are absolutely broken because of it. I think it breaks every wage structure that if Manchester United have that, I really, really do not think signing Messi is a good economical decision for any football club. I think it would be great to do. I'd love to see him in the Premier League. I don't want to see him at Manchester City, but it would be great actually to see, maybe just see what he does. I'd love to see him at Manchester United. It's not going to happen. I don't think it works. People say shirt sales. United don't get that much of shirt sale money. That's already agreed with Adidas. That's why they pay us the biggest contract in the world of 750 million. It's because they take all the shirt sale money. So if we get Messi in, it doesn't give us any extra money. It might give Adidas some, and there's going to be those tweets, there's going to be those posts saying, get Adidas and get them. They're going to put half the wages up, but I don't think that is going to be the case. Let's have a look. I feel we'll see a lot of ins and outs with our squad in the last few days of the window. I agree. Ollie kind of touched on that there, where he's saying that is the start of the season is, the start transfer window. We've done the work. He's strengthened the two positions he really wanted to strengthen in. The next thing is a bonus. And I do think he's seeing that. If we get a few outs, we're going to try and get a few ins to start the season, but I don't see any major signings. Yes, guys, a few of you guys asking in the comments. Yes, this is one of our merch, Donny van de Beek shirt. We've got all sorts available on the merchandise site. Click the pinned comment in here. It's in the description below. myshopify.stretfordpaddock.com. Check that out. There is a code. Use Paddock 20 to get 20% off if you buy 2 or more items. So make sure you having a check of that out. What is Donny van de Beek's role this year? We'll end on that one. I think he might be playing a little bit more. I think a lot of it depends on who he signs in midfield. A lot of it depends on how comfortable everyone is with Rafael Varane at centre-half. I'm hoping that him coming in maybe means that Donny van de Beek gets a bit more game time in the middle of the park. And we'll see from there. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. As that says, we are doing the final push, get us to 600k. So make sure, if you're not already, like the video, subscribe to Stretford Paddock. There's all sorts coming up today. We'll have a preview ahead of the Everton game. We'll have the brew later on this afternoon. You'll see the usuals return. Make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're subscribing. I have been Alex, and I will see you in the next one. Laters.